I know.
Good evening. It is now 6:05. Call the June 26, 2018 meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first order of business, approval of the minutes. Were we all present at all of these?
I think so.
Yep, I think we were. So I will entertain a motion to approve the June 5th, 2018 regular session minutes, the June 5th, 2018 executive session minutes, June 12th, 2018 regular session minutes, and the June 19th regular session minutes.
So moved. Second?
Motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's all set. Next on the agenda, approval of the warrants. I'll entertain a motion to approve school warrant 1060 for $88,573.58. School warrant 1061 for $20,056.04. General warrant 1062 for $150,270.09, and payroll warrant number 26 for $468,546.28.
So moved. A second?
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
There's one transfer, no, there's a number of transfer requests. Two. These came in after our meeting on Tuesday night, so they went to FinCom first, and now they're in front of us. They're both for the police department, and they're both in response to an air conditioning unit that malfunctioned and needed a repair. So the chief is looking to transfer $600 from the gasoline account to the facilities expense account. I'll entertain a motion to approve that one.
So moved. Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on that?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that one was a go. And then he needed to move $714.59 from ACO, animal, is that animal control expenses to the facility expense for the same purpose, to fix that air conditioning. So I'd entertain a motion to approve that transfer.
So moved. A second?
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Those are good. Okay, so we're all set with, is there any old business? All right, I don't see any old business. Do we have anything?
Nope.
New business, the May police report. Since the chief is here, I'll let him read his report.
Monthly report for May 2018. National Grid held their community zone approach and storm response review meeting in our training facility. The training was attended by several area police chiefs, highway superintendents, EMS personnel, and emergency management directors in this area. The training included the review of properly assessing issues with down power lines as well as electricity emergencies. Lieutenant Daly is responsible for collecting and entering all the requested information by the Municipal Police Training Committee into their new database. The new MPTC database will now track all training that every officer takes. The purpose is to track police officers from their start date until their retirement. Although this sounds like an easy task, there's a lot of information we had to collect to get to them, unknown why they didn't have it. But now we are in full compliance with everything through the MPTC. I placed the order for the approved computer and server purchases for the department. The new computers couldn't come at a better time. 9 of the computers throughout the state, of the 9 computers throughout the station, only 4 are properly working. Of those 4, 2 of them are now having intermittent issues. Our IT provider has loaned us a computer that we are utilizing in the booking room at this time. The department is thankful for the support of the Board of Selectmen, the Finance Committee, and the residents for supporting this long-needed purchase and upgrade to the equipment. Right now, all the desktops are in. They're currently being loaded up with all the software and stuff like that. So I anticipate probably in the next month, we should be all up and running, depending how long that part takes. But again, it couldn't have come at a better time. So while I'm in front of the board, thank you for your support in this endeavor. It's a huge, even all the officers are actually excited about this because of where we find ourselves. So again, as a morale thing, thank you.
I would assume it's a time saver too on the booking process, you know?
Well, even the borrowed one that we borrowed from our IT people, is we wouldn't have had it. We would have had to switch one of the ones we normally use, and that one's starting to dwindle away to nothing.
If you need any help with that stuff, I'm pretty good with the computers.
Sounds
Just
like
kidding. Just kidding.
Okay, but I know you are with electricity, so we'll talk about that another time. In May, the 4 new part-time officers were approved by the Board of Selectmen and sworn in. Officer Kyle Casavan has been field training and has been progressing very well. I anticipate that he will finish his training and be clear for patrol by the end of June. The other officers should be receiving uniforms in the near future, and they will start their field training programs as soon as they do come in. The following incidents were logged for May of 2018. We had 40 incidents, 14 arrest summons and custody issues, 9 civil citations, 1 protection order, 5 accidents, and 35 LTC and FIDs were processed. That is the report for May of 2018.
I will entertain a motion to accept the chief's report.
So moved. Second?
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So, while you're up there, 2 weeks ago, we spoke about the littering bylaw, and we talked about assessing fines with that, and we were looking at rewriting the bylaw and having fines and whatever added to it, but it seems like we don't need to do that because it's a bylaw, and it would be a bylaw a violation, and you should have bylaw violation tickets.
We do. I mean, the majority of it, there's another, but most of the things, most of the issues are motor vehicle issues, but there is an other box that I suppose we could use. Now, I don't know. I've looked through the bylaws. Does it clearly define the penalty? Because obviously, as the police department,
no.
we don't have an issue enforcing whatever you tell us to, so long as we have the authority.
No.
But I didn't see a,
We need to
okay.
update the bylaws slightly. There is a bylaw that says you cannot throw trash or refuse on the road, but there's no fine associated with that section. There is another section in which the town adopts the statute that allows us to fine people up to $300. That's a general acceptance of the statute. So you'll notice in some of the other bylaws, they specifically give a fine associated with a violation of that specific bylaw. So what we need to do is take the bylaw. Sue Lyons had emailed me back and forth little tweaks, and I think in the end all we need to do is associate the fine, because the conversation is do we give a fine of a specific amount? Do we graduate the fine for first, second, third offense? Or there was one other option that we had.
Like maybe a warning first, and then.
Yeah. There were 3 different. If you look in the bylaws, there are 3 different ways that the bylaws for the town deal with fines, and we just got to pick one and associate that language, put it in front of the town for a vote, and then you'll be able to fine. And of course, it's sort of like trash bags that are on the side of the road that have an address of somebody in it that might have discarded it.
Ever find one of those?
Many of times.
Or There are some areas in town where furniture's being discarded, sofas and good-sized stuff like that, dishwashers and whatnot, washing machines and stuff. If we put cameras up, we had talked to the highway superintendent, I think the last time, about maybe putting cameras up in high-incident areas, trying to identify somebody who's done it, those type of things. So, we're not looking for the cigarette butts on the side of the road, although if you see it, you see it.
Certainly.
If someone dumps an ashtray out.
Yeah.
I went through the bylaws and that was it. I read all that part, but like you said, some of them have the fines associated with them, and I didn't know where you guys were gonna go with that, so now I understand.
Yeah.
As soon as that's in place, as I told Ms. Petrides, once we have the authority to do so, we shall.
Yep.
Well,
Yes.
Trevor had brought up the fact that it costs the highway time and effort to go and get it, fuel in the truck, and then they have to bring it to the dump, to the transfer station, and it goes in and it's discarded as weight by weight. So it's
Which we pay
costing
for,
the
right?
town
Yeah.
money to get rid of other people's trash. So
Right.
Absolutely.
that's why it was brought up, so,
Which makes sense. I mean, it
Yeah.
is, you're right, it's time,
Yeah.
it's cost.
yeah.
And
For
if you're
everybody, you
talking your
guys.
larger stuff that's coming along, all it's gonna take is one of the highway guys getting injured while they're picking up somebody else's trash. I mean,
Right.
if people throwing couches and TVs and all this stuff, then,
Yeah.
like I said, as soon as it's there, we will absolutely enforce it.
I had 3 nice car seats last week up in front of my yard, up on Crooks Road. So,
Yeah, but we'll get a fine associated with that, and then we'll look to enforce it once that's in place. So,
Very good.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's it.
All right. We have a thank you letter from the Red Cross regarding installation of smoke detectors. I think Chief Hallway actually mentioned this last week, but
2 weeks ago, yeah,
You mentioned it.
Yep.
yeah, Jason, if you want to read that, that's.
Sure. Greetings from the Red Cross. This weekend, my team and I spent a day installing smoke detectors throughout your community. This event was part of our national home fire safety campaign and had been planned over the last few weeks. While we've worked with a number of communities in Worcester County, Chief Hallway's crew was exceptional, while John Foyle did a tremendous job liaising with my team ahead of the event, and between him and the rest of the department, they had scheduled more home installations than any other town. In the end, their team was enthusiastic, professional, and out in force. We managed to make 28 homes safer this weekend, installing over 90 smoke detectors in homes throughout the town. It was truly a pleasure to work with you all, and I look forward to exploring how we might support your fire preparedness efforts through the remainder of the year. And that's from Christopher Ray, Disaster Program Manager, American Red Cross.
Yeah. So the fire department is making great strides, so I'm thankful for the voters who turned out the other night that supported the increased funding for them to staff the fire department on the weekends. I think that'll go a long way in response times, and it may save us on some insurance costs down the road too. So let's see. Next order of business, accepting donations for the townhouse painting. We've received a number of donations so far. Off to a good start. John, you want to read off the names of the donors?
Please find attached a gift of $500 in memory of Julie McCarthy, founder and first president of the Friends of the North Brookfield Townhouse, for the painting of the townhouse project. And that check for $500 comes from David Harris. We have another check from Bernie and Erlene LaPierre for $35. And we have another check from Brandon Avery for $100.
And one
And
more.
then one more.
One more. This is for the playground.
No, not that one. That one's going to be next week. This one.
What do you see? Oh, I didn't see that. Dennis Kelly and Carol Kelly also donated $100.
So the check from the LaPierre says, in memory of Mary T. Is that Doris?
Yes.
Is she was she a member of the friends or just
I don't think she
somebody
was,
that
but she wanted the townhouse painted.
painted?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she had donated before
Yeah, I
for
think so.
that, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So there you go. If anybody else wants to make donations for that, we are accepting them graciously.
Thank you, everyone.
Need a motion
Okay.
to accept them.
Oh, we need a motion to accept?
Yes.
I will entertain a motion to accept all those donations.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And just make sure when you write the check that you put in the memo that it's for the townhouse painting project.
Yes, and that doesn't preclude anybody from wanting to donate to the other things we have going on, the rail trail. What else do we have?
Are we doing rail trail at all tonight? People have been showing up,
Yep,
and I have a couple of brush cutters that take a blade on the end, and I've had donations. Matt Benvenuti bought a couple of blades for my equipment,
oh, nice.
and Edie and Angie Huback also bought a couple of blades. They can be sharpened, but it's so much easier to just change the blade when they get dull,
Mhm.
and then I sharpen them when I go home. So I've now got 6 blades to trade off for the brush cutters. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
so it doesn't need to be cash, I guess, is the moral of that story. You can donate equipment.
Equipment, yep,
So,
yep. And Tara Hayes is coming down with her husband with a chipper
mhm.
to chip some of the brush on Sunday, I believe.
Thank you to everybody
Yeah.
that's been out to help.
Excellent. Let's see, let's do the Vibram request first. We have a request for resources. So if something's going on in town, you want to do a parade, or you need fire or police services, there is a form available on the town's website that you need to fill out so that the police, the fire, EMS, the school, if you plan to use the school grounds, and the selectmen are in on the plan. And this is dated 6/20 for an event on 6/29. Vibram would like to have 2 police officers to control traffic. I believe they want to close the street off, right?
I think
Is
that's
it,
what they usually do, yeah.
for an event that they're having?
The annual cookout or something.
Oh, is that
I think
something?
so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They plan on setting up at 8 a.m. Start time in their event is 11, and it ends at 3. So there may be traffic rerouting around the center of town on the 29th. So I guess I would entertain a motion to give our approval.
Does Vibram pay for the details?
Oh, yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
Yep.
yep. And just so they know that it's not
So moved.
on the town.
Yep.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion need to be had on that?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think it's just Dale's signature on the bottom there.
Do just one?
You're the final selectman.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's enough room for everybody.
So that's the end, right? If you're the final one?
They're the final one.
Okay. So, the next is annual appointments. Are we appointing tonight, or are we going over
Nope, they're appointing,
appointing?
unless there's something you don't like.
I don't suppose we can go as written.
I heard those words the other night. It sounded pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
We used to take turns, read a page apiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, it's very long. And it's in your annual town reports if you want to review the appointments. The only thing I would say is the 200th Anniversary Committee,
They still have money that they're spending. There's
they're spending,
there's quilts that they wanna have framed.
okay?
That wasn't town money, that was all donated money.
Yeah, but do we need the committee?
Yes, I think until they finish framing the quilts and doing what they wanna do with the rest of the money. And I think there's gonna be some money left over that they're gonna return, that they're gonna give to the town or give to
And how long have they been doing this? Because I remember talking about this 2 years ago.
12? Wasn't 2012, I think, was the 200th anniversary?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first came on and this was brought up and we talked about
Yep.
disbanding this
I
committee
ask every
because.
year. Yep.
Well, let's, Can we send them a letter and give them, you
Yeah.
know, 3 months to
Yeah,
finish up and wrap it up?
Sheila's on it. Well, I think they asked Jim Caldwell to build the case for the quilt,
Okay,
so I think that's what they're waiting on.
all right. And the rest of them are just regular town.
Well, Safety
Okay.
committee would change, Bradley would change to Joey.
Oh, I didn't do that, where's that?
It's near the end.
Oh, okay. So get it on, because we have local emergency planning too. I changed all of that. I didn't know the safety committee.
And would-
Yep, you're right, so that would be Bill Hall,
And would
right?
Peter still be on it, or no?
I think he wanted to be.
Okay.
It was something he was interested in.
Yeah, he's one of those at-large people we put on there.
Right,
And then the town beach committee?
we need people for that.
Well, is Jason
Oh,
Ritter?
but Jason Whitman's gone.
Yeah, let's make him vacant.
And then,
Okay.
is Doug still gonna be on it?
Yeah, he's the only one who does anything.
Have we heard from him at all? Is there anything
Yep, he
been
called
done?
Lisa and had her order the porta potty. Lisa
Okay.
Taylor is
Yep.
the, the clerk for that.
Okay.
So what are you making? Jason,
Jason Rittner is, no longer lives in town, so he'll be vacant that spot. So we need 2 people for the beach committee, if anybody's interested in serving on that.
I saw someone in here that had passed away, but I'm not sure.
Could be.
Was it Rita Lemire? Was that, Combine's wife, somewhere?
Those are election workers, and I get that list from Sheila. That's the list Sheila gave me,
Isn't she gone?
but I will ask her.
And we need a fence viewer, if anybody wants to view fences.
And we need a lot of people on the capital planning committee too.
Yes, capital planning is almost
Almost
empty, right? I don't
Yep.
think anybody's left on that.
Chris Donay?
Chris and
Is he? 'Cause I
Charles
thought he
Hunter.
resigned too,
I don't think so.
at some
I
point.
haven't seen anything from him.
Okay.
But there can't be a committee when you only have one.
Is that for writing the new,
No.
no?
No, that's for capital expenses, projecting out over the next 5 and
Okay.
10 years what we're gonna need and trying to set money aside to do that.
So Chris is doing it by himself?
Yeah, so far.
Well, there
everybody
should be a
else-
selectmen's representative and a planning board representative and a FinCom representative, so.
Mhm.
Oh.
I think the clerk usually does
Clerks,
that.
Yeah, the clerk usually does
Clerk
that.
is awful busy.
All right, I'll do it.
Do you wanna be the selectmen's representative?
Sure.
So what is that one for? I'm gonna write your name in here.
That's for the capital planning.
You wanna be the planning board representative, John?
I really can't. I don't have time to.
Well, I don't have time either.
If we can get, oh, never mind.
Yep, so with those edits, I would entertain a motion to approve as written.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Public comment period? Yeah, that would be preferred, but,
Jeff Smith, 45 Walnut Street. I know last year, Smith Hanson Road and Tucker Road were paved. I was a little perplexed this morning when I went by to see that they're paving it again,
Mhm.
when so many other roads in town need it worse than that.
yep.
So I'm just curious to know what's going on with that.
The way they do it is they put a base coat down and they leave it for a year, and then they top it with a top coat the following year, and that protects that road for a longer period of time. So that's the way all these other roads should have been done in order to protect it. So those roads are being topped. And then the plan is for, he gave us the other night 3 or 4
Well,
roads, right?
They starting to work on Brooks Pond Road,
Brooks Pond, that's one, yeah.
and they're gonna be basing their equipment out of Freddie Smith's pit.
Right, yep.
So it's easier to get in and to get there. It'll save them time. And they're gonna be starting work on Cider Mill Road Bridge. And then when the bridge is done, they're gonna be doing that road over.
Good.
Plus we got North Common Street going on too, and there's something else, I think, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, he was here our last meeting and gave us a list of the roads that are coming next, but that's why it's being done again. So instead of breaking up and having to do it again in 7, 8, 10 years, we should get 20 years out of it.
Okay,
All right?
good to know. Another question, where do we stand with MeLink? Haven't heard anything in a while.
Yeah, I talked to Jeremy the last week or so. They're still in their due diligence, looking at whether they can do it or not, talking to the
Yeah,
investors and stuff.
International Grid.
Yeah, National Grid connectivity and stuff like that, so they're in their process. Haven't heard anything about moving forward on it.
Okay.
So,
Where do we stand with the landfill and the improvements for that we're,
yep, talked to Trevor the other night at the annual town meeting, and he's encumbering money to get that stuff fixed. So he's got a little bit of money in the Board of Health budget this year, and we didn't give him quite as much as he wanted next year to make the repairs, only because we needed to cut somewhere. So he's going to take that money into next year to add to what he has, and he's moving forward with the repairs. So that should be ready for the DEP to inspect it.
Right, it's
Yeah.
not a definite that DEP is gonna say yes. DEP inspects it and they say yes or no, that they would allow it, but it's not a definite.
Yeah. So 2 out of the 4 things are done and fixed. There are
Okay.
2 more that need to be fixed, and he's got enough money to do it. So he's on it as soon as it gets fixed. I think he said by October.
Mm-hmm.
He was planning on having it done by October of this year. So then DEP can come in and do their inspection for certification. So they have to certify that it can be used.
correct?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Do you have an estimate for how much it's gonna cost to paint the townhouse?
No. Do we have an estimate? You were going to talk to somebody about paint and stuff like that. We were going to have somebody who were gonna.
Scott Norrie is supposed to set me up with Benjamin Moore, and I haven't heard from them yet. But I'm guessing about 5,000 to buy the paint and supplies.
And who's gonna do the work?
The jail.
The jails,
They did
I'm
as
gonna be,
As much as they can. As much
I'll be
as they
down
can.
there scraping and painting myself when I'm done with the rail trail.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
That's the plan. Some, local people will provide some sweat equity. And then we need to provide paint brushes.
And coffee.
Great.
Coffee and
We need to
lunch
feed
for
the,
We need to feed
feed
them, yep.
Yeah, we gotta give
Yeah.
them
To help.
We're working on that too, so.
Yep.
So through donations, there's no money in the general budget for it, so it's all gonna
I
be.
believe the Friends are planning on helping out with the lunches and the coffees and
Yep.
stuff, so.
I know Mrs. Huback offered to, with some of the food. She's been feeding us on the rail trail, so, snacks.
All right,
Good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, and that brings us to announcements. Dog license reminder.
Want me to read the dog licenses again?
Yeah, you got that down.
All right. What's this, about the 8th time? Everybody's dog should be licensed by now. 2018 dog licenses are now available at the town clerk's office, Tuesday and Thursday, 12 noon to 3 p.m., Tuesday evening, 5 to 8 p.m., through the mail. Please enclose a self-addressed stamped envelope. $8 spayed, neutered, $12 male, female. After June 1st, $5 late fee. After September 1st, $25 late fee per household. Please get your dogs licensed.
Jason, you wanna do the
Sure.
Windmouth?
So Wendemouth Meadow is hosting Sundays at Wendemouth on Bates Street in North Brookfield. June 24th,
Which was
I
this
guess,
weekend.
I guess we could skip that one. July 9th, July 29th, sorry. They're gonna have yoga from 8 to 9 a.m. and open mic from 1 to 4 p.m. Then August 26th, they're gonna have yoga from 8 to 9 a.m. and a family day from 1 to 4 p.m. Everything's free, everyone's invited, and it's sponsored by the local cultural council.
On the 29th, are they really gonna let me sing down there? Open mic?
Yeah,
All right,
we'll come down to be your backup.
we'll see.
We sang for the school.
We did. We can sing for John.
There you go.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
You got anything?
Nope.
John, anything you need to bring up?
Oh, what about that East Brookfield stuff? Anything, or you just, Leslie sent us?
Yeah, no, we don't have anything on that as far as the rail trail. We're not in,
I know.
the work that's going on the rail trail is going on in North Brookfield, not East Brookfield, so, and we will address the East Brookfield side once we finish with the North Brookfield side. Although, letters to the abutters went out, right? So all the abutters
Absolutely.
have been notified, and we've been, well, Jason has anyway, been looking at the deeds and some lease agreements that haven't been kept up and stuff like that. So I guess more to come on that as it develops, but
So the rail trail is on track,
work continues.
Come down and help.
Saturday, 9 to 1, right? Is it
Saturday and Sunday,
Saturday, Sunday.
giving up my weekends for the next month.
Yeah, come see John, don't just freelance. I think somebody lost a skid steer to the mud up there. the
Somebody
other day.
buried their skid steer in there, they didn't listen to me, but we'll take care of it.
All right, any other business?
No.
What is this other donation?
We're doing that in
Next
2
week.
weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yep.
Yeah, I did Dollar General. Nope.
Because they can come in 2 weeks, so I'd rather have them here.
Okay,
and,
yep.
We'll announce it at that point. Okay, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second?
Motion's made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Good night, everybody.